Today in our 2016 Chevrolet Silverado 3500, we're going to be taking a look at the B&W Custom Underbed Installation Kit for the B&W Companion fifth wheel trailer hitches. Part number is BWGNRK1016-5W. Now this fifth wheel installation kit's designed to let you install your B&W Companion fifth wheel trailer hitches. The adapters are part number BWRVK3500 or part number BWRVK3400. The underbed design is going to allow full access to our truck bed, but can very easily be converted over to a fifth wheel hitch in less than 5 minutes. We'll start off by unlocking our B&W hitch and installing our fifth wheel adapter. We have ours pre-assembled, but you can adjust the uprights here depending on your truck and trailer combination. At this point, we're ready to connect to our trailer. It's going to be a little clip that you'll release. Basically, it's a safety pin. Then you swing the handle out. You can watch the jaws open. We're ready to back onto the trailer. Once we've secured to our trailer, we'll simply reinstall our clip. This is going to offer us a very quick and easy way to have a fifth wheel when we need it, a gooseneck when we need it, and also a clean, empty, open bed when we need that. Now we'll show you how that underbed kit installs. Now you can see we've got our spare tire removed before we begin our installation. We're also going to be taking down this heat shield here. There are two 13mm bolts. One's going to be right in the bottom of this round tube, right behind the heat shield there, and then one in the bottom of the frame right here, also behind the heat shield. When we get those removed and take it down, it's just going to make it a lot easier for you to see what we're doing. Next, depending on your bed size, you're going to want to measure from the rear edge forward and make a mark in the bed. This is going to be the area we're going to be drilling our hole in. Now we want this to be centered in the bed. Typically that's going to be in the center of your center raised rib here, but we will measure just to make sure. Now this is going to be different depending on the long bed and the short bed, so make sure you get the right measurement. Then we're going to measure from side to side between our wheel wells here. Once we've got that done, we'll want to take a punch just to give us a center mark location on there so we can start our hole saw. And we'll go from there with our 4-inch hole saw. Now we need to make a small notch. We're here in the rear passenger side fender well, and you'll see there's kind of already an area here where there's just one layer of steel. We're going to take that out. This one has an electrical connector that's there. So we want to get that out of the way, of course. That come down. We can zip tie that off right up here when we're done with that square hole. So it'll still give it a good connection point, but we want to keep that down and out of the way, especially while we're sliding our rails in. Now with that out of the way, it should allow us to slide our rail in and out of there without any interference. Now you'll see just behind that notch, we can see the top of a heat shield that's here. Now this is held in spot in a few different locations. We're going to be removing this with a 13mm wrench. Just get in there. We need to get these bolts out. We've got two here on the frame rail, one here and one here. There's also going to be one located right above the rear rounded cross member here. And then just ahead of where we created our hole, there's another rounded cross member that's got a bolt. And once we've got the 4 of those out, we'll just kind of push it up over our frame rail there and then pull it down and out. Now we can take our front cross member. It's going to be the angled piece. The holes need to face towards the rear of the vehicle. And you'll see where this hump comes down, there's a little bit of an offset. It's a short area there, longer there. So this needs to go over towards the driver's side. Slide it right up through that notched area. Once we've got it in there a little ways, it'll rest there. We can go underneath and help it on across. All right, now the second hole over from the driver's side, we want to take one of our shorter 1/2-inch bolts in the O-ring that's in the kit, and we want to get that started just by pushing that O-ring down on it after we pass it through. Now it's time for us to get our center section put up into position, but what we're going to do is just slide the passenger side of it. You can see the offset where that large hole there is. We want that closer to the rear of the truck rather than closer to the front. Slide it up over the exhaust and then rotate it in position here. You'll see the large 4-inch hole there. We want that to line up with the hole up through our bed, just like that. That'll give us an idea on positioning. I do like to secure it with a couple of bolts. All right, now that'll hold that in place. Let's get our rear bar put across here. Now we've got our rear cross member, and you'll notice with this, these holes are just a little bit closer to one side than they are to the other. Ultimately, when it's in position, we want those to be closer to the bottom, so just keep that in mind. Slide that right up and over just like we did our other one. Go underneath and help it on across. Now we can rotate that up into position just like that. Now we're going to align the holes that are in our rear cross member. You'll see how these are threaded. We're going to align those with the slots here. We're going to use our longer 2-inch 1/2-inch bolts. We're going to flat washer on there, and a lock washer. I'm just going to put those through there and thread them right into the holes. Now we can go through and just get the rest of our hardware started here. Now we can get our side plates put into position. You can see our 2 flanges here. These need to go in between the front and the rear cross rail there. And then those plates are going to line up with our holes right here on the side. Already going to have weld nuts there. Just going to use our 16mm hex head bolts with a lock washer and a flat washer for our front and rear location here. And for our rear hole location, for our side plate to our cross member connection point, 1/2-inch bolt with a flat washer and lock washer. Just thread that in. And for our forward hole location, just like we did underneath, we'll bring a bolt through. This time we'll add on a flat washer and a lock washer. And our nut. Now we go do the same thing over for our driver's side. All right, we've got all of our bolts installed now. It's time to go through and get all of these tightened down. There are torque specifications listed in your instructions, and you want to follow the appropriate order. We're going to start by tightening our head, or the center section, to the front and rear cross member. Then we want to square it up on each side just to make sure it's even. Now with everything squared up, we can get to the side plate bolts that connect them to our cross members. Now we'll grab our latch handle. We're going to pass it over top of our frame rail and through the half-moon shaped hole that's in the side of the head. Once that's come through, we're going to line that up with the latch mechanism itself. You'll see we've got a carriage bolt provided with the kit. That's going to pass through the latch mechanism into the handle. And we'll finish that off with a flange nut. Then we'll tighten that down so it's snug, but we don't want to over tighten it. Now you see we'll pull out on that, rotate it. That's going to lock our pin in that open position so we can slide our gooseneck ball down and in. And if we rotate the handle, that pin's going to slide back through, re-engage that ball, and hold it nice and securely. Now for our safety chain connection points, you can try to drill a 1/2 inch hole up through the bottom, but as long as those drill bits are, it's pretty much impossible. So best thing to do is take a nice short drill bit and mark the center of each of those holes. We'll go around, we'll do that at all 4 of our locations, and then we can drill down through the top. That'll be a lot easier on us. We'll slide our U-bolts down. Now we're ready to slide our springs on the bottom side here. We'll slide them right up on those U-bolts. We're going to put on one of our lock nuts. Now we just need to tighten these up so they're flush with the bottom of the bolt there. So not too much. All right, that's all there is to it. Now we'll get our spare tire heat shield put back in place here. Get our spare tire put back in, and anything else that you took down, with the exception of that one larger heat shield up front. And that'll complete our installation of the B&W Custom Underbed Installation Kit for the B&W Companion 5th Wheel Trailer Hitch. Part number BWGNRK 1016-5W on our 2016 Chevrolet Silverado 3500.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.